It's sports talk done better.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garoppolo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. Welcome in, everybody, to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, John Luke Garoppolo and Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, boys?
Yeah.
Just I could hardly sleep after how exciting that football game was last night. I was up all night just thinking about, how close they were to score a touchdown. Yeah.
You
How
know
many
what the
almost
worst part
touchdowns?
is about games like that? Like, whenever it's a very exciting game and, I get up and I go to my kitchen to grab some water or something, I don't even think about it. Know what I mean? I go grab water. If I hear something, I run to the other room. When the game is this bad, I have such fear of missing the one exciting play that I don't even want to leave unless it's a commercial break. Like the game traps you more than even an exciting game does, because you're like, what if they throw the one touchdown of this game while I'm gone?
Welcome to the hockey watching experience, dude. That's hockey 100%.
Waiting to
dude.
pee. That's
yeah.
like a hockey experience, like a shared hockey experience.
Or
just
soccer,
holding
too.
in your pee.
Yeah, or just be like, I'm gonna miss the one goal. This is my hockey watching experience. Ready? Like, I'll be watching and I'll be like, oh, when are they gonna score? Right? And then I'll go to get a beer and I'll come back, room full of people, and then there'll be a goal on the TV and I'll go crazy. And then everyone will look at me and I'll look back and I'll realize that it was a goal during a commercial, and they're wearing the yellow jerseys today, but on the commercial they're wearing the black one, so it's not even one that people should get excited about. And then I'll be like, oh damn, and then I'll look away for 2 seconds, and then they'll score, and everybody else will go crazy. That's what watching hockey is like for me. Yeah, I don't know about you guys.
I don't watch hockey.
I
have
every
no
year
idea what
say
it's
I'm
like.
gonna watch hockey because I'll watch the Stanley Cup playoffs and then I don't watch hockey. Coop, I lie to myself every year.
But how awesome is playoff hockey? That's the
It's
thing.
so much
Playoff
fun.
hockey is just a different brand of hockey that makes you think you like hockey, but you just excited.
Is that what's happening to me?
I
Because
think-
every year
I
it
think that's
happens.
what it
It's every year I'm like, oh my god, this is the best sport. Why isn't everyone watching this all the time? And then regular season hits and I try watching one game and I lose interest immediately.
Well, that's even bad football last night is better than bad hockey, and even bad football is better than good baseball, honestly.
So football's like pizza.
That's where I thought you were gonna go.
Yeah.
Even bad pizza is good. Even bad football is good, but hockey's more like hollandaise sauce. Like a bad hollandaise sauce is disgusting, but a good hollandaise sauce, if you're patient, you wait for the restaurant to make it up right, it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And for real though, I don't know. I play fantasy hockey. I'll be the hockey expert on this show. You know what I mean? Go out, draft Ovechkin, I believe his name is.
Oh,
wow.
Deep cut there.
Bit of a sleeper this year, perhaps.
It's probably the one hockey player I could name.
You can name another. I would bet my life that you could name one more hockey
Simon,
player.
please do not bet your life. Please do not
Dale,
do that. Do not put that on me. I
former
honestly
or-
just tried to do it and I couldn't think of a
I'm
single
doing it.
one.
I am
Please
betting
don't
my
bet your
life that you can name another
No.
hockey player. I just did it, Jail. If you can't name one right now and I die today,
I need you.
it's gonna be on you.
What about
Come on, think of the all-time great. Don't say any more.
Yarmir Jaeger bombs?
I love
Give me
Yamir
real.
Jaeger bombs. My uncle has that same name. My Dutch uncle goes by Yamir Jaeger bombs. I didn't know he was in the
Yarmir Jaeger
NHL.
bombs, dude. Clap bombs.
Jail, can you do it? Am I alive?
Who's the guy that's married to Carrie Underwood?
Tony Romo.
Steve.
I think it's Ovechkin. Shoot.
Oh, not again. This guy that's married to Putin.
Oh man, I can't believe
Maybe
I'm
not. She's
dead.
married to a hockey
I can't
player.
believe I'm dead. You can't even name a single other hockey player.
Dude, I can't.
Yes,
name
you
a single
can.
one.
Wayne
dude.
Gretzky.
I thought that was the same guy as Ovechkin.
That's a pretty good
Oh,
one.
yeah, you thought it was just a different name. Sidney Crosby.
Oh, that means nothing to me.
Okay, those are the only
Sidney
two other-
Crosby means nothing to you? Okay, you are truly lost. You're gonna have to be the
All right,
basketball guy.
sorry,
this year,
guys.
then.
Yeah, Joe-
Not a hockey guy.
You're gonna be.
Joe, you
you
got
want to be the basketball
basketball.
guy or the NASCAR guy?
Neither.
You're gonna have to pick one.
I can't name a NASCAR guy either.
Get out of here, dude.
Apart from what's his name?
Jeb Bush.
Jeff Dale Griffey Jr.
Jeff Dale Griffey Jr.
Oh, man. He's,
Yeah.
he's the one in the
I can
Tide
name
car,
him.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so fast. He
So smart.
his car's actually Flintstones powered. But it's incredible that he's able to even keep up with these guys. Aside from Flintstones covered cars, we have some news to go over. After last night's loss, Bronco Wilson. I just said Bronco.
Bronco. Let's go, dude. Good morning.
I just like the realization
Bronco
of
Wilson says he let
Dude,
the
that's actually
team-
kind of a dope name, though, dude.
Bronco
Oh,
Wilson.
that's going on my list for names for my kids. Bronco.
Bronco.
Bronco with a
No, not even
with
Bronco.
you?
Bronco Cooper.
Bronco.
Kind of a dope.
That's
name.
pretty good.
Bronco. Well,
And
Bronco
they'll be like,
Wilson.
"Oh, how'd you come up with that name?" And you'll be like, "Yeah, there was a stupid joke on our morning show."
Simon was
Funny-
sleep
funny
deprived and combined Bronco and Russell Wilson into one really weird word.
The
and,
other option is Jeff Dale. Your pick.
Jeff Dale Jr.
Jeff, that's what I'm naming my. Whichever one you don't pick, Coop, I'll take the scraps for my
Okay.
kid.
Yeah.
Jeff Dale Griffey Jr. Grunewald.
It's all
Jeff
the
Dale
same.
Griffey Jr. Grunewald. Hogs up.
Dude, kind of got a nice ring to it, dude.
Kinda, yes.
Bronco
It's a bit
Hog.
Hispanic.
Bronco Hog Cooper.
Now, all I need to do is from this point until the day I have a child, I have to try to make a really lopsided bet that my girlfriend will accept where I get to name the first child. Like it
In the
has
end.
to be like she's going to turn down 99% of them, but it's got to be like one. I got to find that edge somewhere. And otherwise, Jeff Dale Griffey Jr. is not happening.
Gotta have
Yes.
Jeff Dale. Hey, folks in
End
the
up being
chat.
Tyler.
Folks in the chat. What would a dude named Bronco Hog Cooper? What would that dude's occupation be? What would that dude do for work? I'd love to know.
I would love to
Bronco
know.
Hog Cooper.
Bronco Hog Cooper.
I don't
Sounds
think
like
he's playing
Accountant
football.
at law.
He's probably a strip club DJ, dude.
Strip club DJ.
DJ
not-
Bronco.
Not at like a nice strip. Like he's not DJing at Magic City where it's like
Wednesday
a legit
afternoon.
hip hop club. He's Joe. He's got the Wednesday afternoon lunch buffet crew at like a weird strip club in rural Minnesota is like where we got this guy DJ.
Jesus.
Scott Fish is in the corner.
There you go. Donovan Miller, bouncer at a nightclub.
Bronco Hog.
Bronco Hall Cooper.
Ooh,
And
Craig
Craig said,
Ruth.
plug that name into the new AI bot we can use to see what he would look like. Yeah, someone with access to Dolly 2 or whatever the hell that thing is called. Let us know. We can just plug that name in. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Oh.
It's this like AI art bot. Look up
There's a
Dolly
bunch of
2
those.
on TikTok. This one's like
Oh.
blown up recently. It's in beta, so you have to like get granted access. There's a wait list that people are waiting on for like over a year. But it is unbelievable what they do. They'll type in Jeb Bush riding a lawnmower into a shopping mall while eating ice cream with Noam Chomsky, and then all of a sudden, like this thing will generate 6 different versions of that image for you,
Dude,
like
so
in
I,
different art.
I have
styles.
access to one of those. If you guys want to do some of those,
let's
I'm in
do it.
I'm in the Discord for Mid Journey, which is a very similar one. It does the same thing.
Oh, that's
And
sick.
looking at the ones in there, it cracks me up. Bro. So
Let's get Bronco Hog Wilson in there and see what it
Bronco
does.
Hog Wilson.
Bronco Hog Wilson. Well, what I was saying is Bronco Hog Cooper. What I was saying is Bronco Wilson says he let the team down in overtime loss. Direct quote, very simple. At the end of the day, I've got to be better. I've got to play better, Wilson said. The defense played their butts off tonight. We had some key good drives. At the end of the day, throwing 2 interceptions can't happen. Can't happen. I let the team down tonight. Let's ride.
Did he say "Let's ride" at the end?
No.
Did he
didn't.
really say that?
No,
I was gonna
no,
say,
he
like,
did
that's
not.
such
What?
a funny way if he signed off like that.
Always. He's like contractually obligated to end every like press conference with a "Let's ride."
Did you guys
Hashtag
see
let
when
me
he?
cook.
You guys see when he came out of the injury tent and like he came out of the injury tent after that interception and he's walking down the bench and he like claps and says like "Let's ride," and everyone on the bench just had this look on their face like, "Gosh, shut the fuck
I think I
up,
saw
you
that exact
goofy
moment.
dude." Like
It was like right when he came out of the medical tent.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just
saw
remember,
that too.
I remember watching that, being like, "Oh no, they're sick of him."
Yeah.
Like Russ being goofy and corny is probably like quirky when they're winning. Know what I mean? Like when they're winning, it's probably like, "Oh, that's just quirky Russell. When they're losing, it's probably like, I swear to God, if you say let's ride one more time, Russell Wilson.
We are riding.
If you practice high fives one more time, I'm like it's just all the stuff that's goofy is gonna just turn annoying real fast.
He's 100% an energy vampire, right? He's like, let's ride. And then we're just like, yeah.
Dude, I feel like I said it on Twitter yesterday, but Russell Wilson's got the yips, right? No, you're not supposed to say it, but
Could be, dude.
that's what it looks like. It looks like he is just uncomfortable on the field. It looks like he is in his head. There's multiple throws last night where it was just to no one, and you just like they would pan to him, and he's just like looking confused. I feel like this is like a mental thing.
I think there's some of that to it. Also, like we saw like multiple times last night where it was clear Russell Wilson and the wide receivers were just not on the same page, right? Like it wasn't a bad throw in the sense that like he missed his target. He was just throwing somewhere where the wide receiver wasn't. Like he was just throwing the ball and the wide receiver cut a different direction. He saw a different coverage than the wide receiver. Cortland Sutton goes one way, Russell Wilson throws the other, and it happened like 3 or 4 times throughout the night. So like I don't think it's just a Russell Wilson problem. I think we're seeing is like Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford made us think it is really easy to plug a top tier quarterback into a new offense and just have them ride, right? Like, but this, it's difficult. This is a new playbook that they're learning. These are new receivers, new players. And they mentioned like on the broadcast multiple times yesterday, Russell Wilson is not an easy quarterback for an offense to learn how to play with. He's famous around the league for making people jump off sides. Like his offensive line is struggling to play with him. They're leading the league in false starts. Like, I think it's difficult to learn to play with Russell Wilson, and it's difficult for Russell Wilson to learn this new system. I hope he gets it together, but it does not look good. Jail, there's more than that too, probably. There's probably some cases, something mental, some yips, something in his head causing him.
No, I think you're right. And this is something that we're talking about, I brought up over the offseason is like a lot of times people just assume that okay, this player is doing well in this situation. Let's just plug them in here. It's going to work. Or they assume the other way and assume it's not going to work, like with Stephon Diggs. And I feel like a lot of time it's wrong, right? Allen Robinson is another one, multiple years now, where we thought the same thing. So you got to be concerned about that.
I mean, just look at the QBs on new teams this year, right? We saw 2 of them last night. It wasn't just Russell Wilson struggling. Matt Ryan on a team didn't look too great. Not that Baker Mayfield's a world beater, but we're seeing him really struggle on a new team. Mitch Trubisky already got benched on his new team. Like, it is difficult for these quarterbacks to come in and learn a new system.
Unless you're Tom Brady.
Except unless you're Tom Brady or apparently Matthew Stafford.
It's funny how that happens, though. It's like, Kenny Golladay goes to a new team, terrible. But Randy Moss goes to play with Tom Brady, awesome. So, I don't know. Maybe everyone should just go out and get a Tom Brady if they could.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
What are you idiots? What are you doing? We got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Craig said watching that game last night was less fun than being on Team Oven Mitt. Team Oven Mitt is the place to be.
Team Oven Mitt
is the place to be. Squirrel Bob in here saying, dude, I turned it off. And we got Tommy in here. What's up, Tommy? Letting us know about those Broncos, saying those Broncos look like a hell of a team. Yikes. And then also Craig came in here and said, let's hide. Let's ride off into the sunset. Let's ride this team into the ground. We got a couple of those over there.
Let's ride this team into the ground.
And Tommy, Coop, how do you like them tomatoes? Yeah, me and Tommy have a tomato bet on the Broncos versus the Raiders. But that being said, the Raiders they only have
delicious cereal.
Raiders not doing that good either, Tommy.
I was about to try to make Broncos end in the letter OS, but I realized it already does. Raiders and Broncos.
Raiders and the Broncos.
Oh, the Broncos one is so silly. The Raiders and the Broncos. Yesterday, KJ Hamler said, I could have walked into the end zone if the final pass had been thrown to me. On the final play of Thursday night's loss to the Colts, Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson threw an incomplete pass. Wilson never appeared to look to his right, where wide receiver KJ Hamler was wide open for a game-winning touchdown. I could have walked in, Hamler told James Palmer of NFL Network. And Russell Wilson, when asked about this play, was quoted as saying, let's ride.
Let's ride. That's all he's able to say. Russell Wilson's just like that senator from Parks and Rec It's like the robot. He's just got like three phrases.
That's like I love for some reason that makes me think I had a Halloween like trick-or-treating bag with like a button on it when I was a kid growing up, and it just knew 3 phrases, and they're like forever burned into my mind in the voice of this thing, just like over and over again, like trick or treat, like just like a witch's voice, just like screaming that in my head. Because as a kid, you just push a button over and over and over again. Also, Craig said that really assumes a lot on the pass on being on target for the pass to KJ Hamler. What do you guys think about that? Do you think as fans we're oversimplifying what was happening in that final play? Do you think KJ Hamler, like we don't I think it was Kurt Warner last night put out a tweet. He was like, I'm sick of all these people screenshotting a play and putting an arrow on it. Like, you don't know the reads, you don't know the coverage. So I saw that tweet. Is this one of those cases, or is this something different?
No, it's 100. That really is the case. Like, it's not like backyard football where you just drop back and everyone's running around and you're just scanning around the field. Like, there's a progression of who you look at in what order, because there's windows for each player on most plays. Some, a lot of them are drawn up differently, but a lot of times you're not even looking to the left yet, because you have the early look, intermediate look, and then your late play guy. So like one dude's running a slant, he's your first look. And then you have a guy running a deep curl, he's your second look. If you look to the guy on the left first, then you miss the window for the slant completely. It's not even part of the play, right? And if you're looking to the left the whole time, you're just watching this guy telling the defense where you're looking. And then by the time he actually gets to the curl, everyone knows you're going there. So it's like you have to go through the progressions. Sometimes you're going to miss people that are open, but that dude might not even be expecting the ball at that point. So I fully am on board with that take, especially if a guy like Kurt Warner is reading the play that way. He's probably right.
Now, he tweeted that way earlier in the game, not during overtime. That was in like the middle of the first half that he tweeted that. But it was because there were similar plays throughout the game, right? Where we would see a guy wide open, Russ throws somewhere else into coverage. But same thing. Jay, what do you think about this?
I agree with Coop, and it's so much more difficult to see all that stuff in real time, right? Like, it's so easy to see it on a replay, of course. You can get to slow it down. You get to look all over the place without any sort of threat. Even just like anybody who's played Madden knows this, that like you can't see it all, right? Like you can't see everything that's happening, so you miss stuff while like it's happening real time. So yeah, he's absolutely right. Playing quarterback is much different than sitting on your ass and watching someone play quarterback.
And Russell, it might have been in his head at that point. Did you guys see it as overtime hit? Just the volume of fans just leaving the stadium. Like, they showed like clips of people just heading out. Can you imagine being the Broncos? It's Thursday night football, prime time. You're headed to overtime and half your fans are leaving. They said, nah, we're out. Like, we're done with it.
I just thought about that. Like, if you were one of those fans too, like you pretend to be a diehard fan, but then like your friends are watching the game and they just see you like sliding down the banister, like, oh, yeah, I'm out. I got work in the morning.
Gonna beat the parking.
Right.
Just absolutely brutal. Keith in the chat pointing out, luckily, we have a great Thursday night football matchup next week with Commanders versus Bears. So we get the Commanders versus Bears.
They showed that up on the screen. It was like Carson Wentz and Justin Fields, and I was like, yeah, y'all shouldn't have made this graphic.
Right.
Like, this does not make me want to watch anything.
I'm trying to think, like, who is like the cool guy on the Bears right now? Not really a lot of options.
No one.
Equinemius St. Brown.
Probably.
Cool. I think he's the cool guy on the Bears. Yesterday we got an update from Tom Brady. There were concerns about his shoulder. He said his shoulder feels great and he will play Sunday. So he suffered that shoulder injury on a strip sack. So he suffered that shoulder injury on a strip sack three times fast.
Yeah.
Suffering that shoulder on a shift pack.
Suffering succotash.
On a shift pack.
I honestly forgot entirely the sentence as soon as I started saying it.
Suffering the shoulder on the shit sack.
Nice pack.
By L'Jarius Sneed. Yeah, L'Jarius Sneed's the one that injured him on that strip sack in the first half of the Bucs loss to the Kansas City Chiefs last week. Didn't miss a snap, but it was apparent he was in pain. But he's going to play this Sunday. Any concerns for Tom Brady, or is it hogs up? You're starting him if he's on your lineup.
always with those guys, he's in that group. We call it the quarterback glob almost, right? Where it's like that group of non-mobile quarterbacks that still have good arms. You know what I mean? Like, or I mean, at this point, they have kind of shaky arms, like Stafford and Brady, Aaron Rodgers. I would put in that glob. Joe Burrow might even be in that group. Where like, if you have any sort of mobile upside play, you go with those guys. But Tua is not around. There's not really you can't start Justin Fields, so you probably do have to start Tom Brady. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I do have Tom Brady in a few leagues, and I am starting him in those leagues. Yeah, you can't bench Tom Brady.
He's got all the weapons back except Cameron Brate. Probably not going to play with a concussion.
I think he'll be all right.
You think Brate's going to play? Oh,
I think Tom Brady will be all right without Brate.
Brate went to Harvard. Pretty smart. Pretty smart guy.
Smart guy.
Smart guy. I don't know. I know some idiots that went to Harvard. Not personally, just on like TV and stuff.
Just on TV.
They live in my cell phone most of the time. That's where I see them all the time. It's just in that little screen. Yesterday, guys, Richard Sherman after the game went off during his post-game show about how he thinks the last part of the game should have been handled. I can read that quote, but I think we have the clip ready, Keith. If you want to run that, let Richard Sherman tell us himself what he thought about the end of that game.
Let's see it.
On the final play, you got to run the ball again. Like I mean, I wish I had Marshawn up here. Like 1 yard. You need 1 yard. Run the ball. Run the ball. CT. All he has to do is run the football. Like necessary criticism. I'm not, I've said enough criticism for him, but God dang it, run the dang ball. Like, learn from your mistakes.
Can somebody fill me in? What is he referring to?
I'm confused. Have you been in this situation before?
Run the ball.
I will say this.
I love that, dude. I love that, bro.
I love
Richard Sherman. God, I love you, man. That's incredible. I love that. Like, you could tell he was trying to stay composed. He was like, run the ball. And then, like, it just run the ball. Run the ball! Like he just, like, broke. Like he said it calm. He's like, that does not capture what I'm trying to say here. Like,
I respect that so much because that's something that we would do. We would get on a freaking primetime broadcast. We would get up there and then just be like, run the ball!
I'm pretty sure I did that exact thing yesterday talking about Justin Fields, except saying throw the ball, right?
Yeah.
When we were talking about, his dropbacks without throwing it. But, like, while watching that, all I could think of was that gif of Richard Sherman reacting to the Malcolm Butler interception, right? The oh no gif. It was just playing in my head.
Yeah, that was playing in his head too while he was staring at that, thinking about that. That's pretty awesome. Richard Sherman, I'm a big fan. I'm glad they got you over there commenting on these games. Also, I just want to comment. I know people complain about it. I love Amazon Prime Thursday Night Football. It is the bomb. Have you guys turned on Prime Vision? Like they've got a couple different broadcasts. There's a Prime Vision broadcast. Have you guys watch? Turn it on. It is unbelievable. It made that game last night. Like they have advanced stats along the side and under the bottom the entire time. All players are labeled with a little tag above them at the top of the play.
That's pretty sweet.
So you can see them. They track the routes live while the players are running them. So you can see
Computer
the
vision,
path.
bro.
You can see the path that each player took. And then they've got live updates on like what happened, what they're most likely to do on third down, like who their heaviest third down targets are, their success rates on different plays. Like it was just on my screen while I was watching football, all the stuff that I wanted to know. And it was just sitting. It changed that game watching experience. They were killing.
I don't dislike Amazon Prime. I just find it like a little goofy in the sense that like I can tell it's all brand new to a lot of them. And so it's like it just kind of makes it not like
It makes it fun.
It's not bad. It's just kind of like, I don't want to say cute because that sounds condescending, but it's just fun to watch because of that.
It's like the city that like isn't a big city. It's a very small city, but it has proximity to a college town. Like it's about an hour away. Let's hypothetically call this city Greenville, South Carolina. Just pure hypothetical situation here, where everyone moves there, and it's not quite a real city, but everyone's excited to make it a real city. So they're all working really hard to do like community events and have farmers market and like all this stuff, and like everyone's excited, and it's got like a great vibe. But you're there, and it's like this is kind of cute. Like this is a cute city, and that's how you feel, not in a condescending way, but in a like.
This is nice and snug.
This isn't Atlanta. This isn't Houston. This isn't Baltimore.
It is what it is, and
it is what it is, and it's really nice. It's really nice.
And I feel like just us being like on this side of media, like having to create shows and do the type of like I totally feel for them. I've totally been in maybe not those high stakes, but like
I like the broadcasters.
Yeah. The broadcasters I think they picked are great. I
Plus,
think that they're learning.
There's never been like an awkward silence or like a weird moment on this show.
No,
Yeah, of course.
not
Never.
once.
Never.
Nonstop. You know
Never
what I
any
mean?
hiccups. We went
Always.
0 to 100.
No one's ever said like Bronco instead of Russell Wilson or anything like that on this show.
Can you imagine if like in the middle of the game, Al Michaels was just like, and Bronco Wilson with the interception?
I meant
Wilson.
Jeff Dale.
Jeff Dale. Griffin Jr.
Jail, one day you and I should comment a game and just we'll get every name wrong.
That'd be
Every
really
single
funny.
name
We'll
wrong.
just make things up. Oh, that's a big old shootout. Oh, he just hit him in the dingle.
Hit him in the dingle.
Tim Wright says, wasn't able to catch the game last night. What did I miss? Here, I'll give you a quick recap.
Kick.
That was the game.
Yeah.
That was it.
Punt. Field goal. Punt.
Dude, it was exciting for no one except for one man. One brave man on the entire planet was willing to put his money on the line to bet that this would be the worst football game of all time. And that man was producer Keith. Literally the only person in the world on the edge of his seat the entire time because he put money on the first, I think of the prop. Did he do first touchdown scored? No touchdown?
No touchdown scored.
No touchdown. So he just sitting there rooting for the worst game ever.
$10 on it or something. Got $700.
$700
for it.
So there's a dude
I posted in our
New
chat.
Jersey.
Oh yeah, you're gonna bring it up.
Dude in Atlantic City bet $1,000 on it and won 100,000. And those are the odds that I saw on FanDuel where it was like plus 10,000 on FanDuel to do if you did the first touchdown bet and did no touchdown, it was plus 10,000, which honestly means that Keith somehow found bad odds for that bet.
Can you imagine
worse odds?
Can you imagine putting $1,000 on no touchdown being scored? Like just like that's got to be some sort of like kink, right? Like that's got to be a sex thing. Like there's no way that you're gonna sit through that entire game with $1,000 on the line if that's not like a sex thing where it's like putting your money on the line for really mundane, awful, boring things is like what gets you going.
Right? You know that dude just like everyone's like, oh, this guy's a genius. He probably sat there and was like, well, the running backs are hurt. How they go and score, right? Like that's probably the thought process that went into that bet. And that's definitely what Keith did.
I like how we're in Atlantic City, but it was a Southern accent anyways. Like it was
Russell
just
Wilson can't throw.
Well, how they done gonna score without the running backs there now? Yeah.
Country accent. Just he says no one with a New Jersey accent would make that bet.
No way, dude. No way. New Jersey guys would be like, I'm walking here.
I'm walking.
No touchdowns.
New Jersey specifically.
No
touchdowns.
Put ketchup on my bagel.
My bagel.
You got to ask for no ketchup on your bagel in New Jersey. Tim can confirm. Bagel Master's top tier. But if I don't ask for no ketchup, they're putting ketchup on it on my bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh, I don't on the bacon, egg, and cheese. I thought you were just on a regular bagel. Like you just
on the bacon, egg, and cheese bagel. No, you don't get your cinnamon toast bagel with cream cheese and ketchup. That would be disgusting.
Kind of dope.
You know, as bad as this game was, I still loved it. I know everybody's complaining, but it was still fun just watching football. You know what I mean?
I watched all of regulation. Every last second of regulation I watched in this game. And I had moments of enjoyment. I did. I had really invasive thoughts last night of like, should I get into IDP? Like, did anyone else have that thought? Like midway through the third quarter,
Absolutely
you were like,
not.
You were just sitting there and you were
Absolutely
like,
not.
Like I'm not going to. Don't get me wrong. Like that sounds like I'm not as smart as Craig. I don't have the ability to like get into that. But I was sitting there thinking, like, like maybe I should get into IDP. Like I bet this game would be a little more fun if I was cheering for some of these sacks, right?
No, dude, you got playoff hockeyed, my friend. Like you're just, right. when you're in the moment and it's a good one, you're like, yeah, maybe I could do this, but.
I got playoff hockey.
You don't want to be that dude. You don't want to be that Keith out there rooting for deep.
Also, Tommy in the chat saying Keith watched last night's game bound in leather. Without a doubt, Keith did. He was sitting there. He made that bet just like thinking, oh, man, I'm going to be so sad tonight. This isn't even going to be fun.
I pictured him like Kylo Ren. Every 1 yard run, he's like, more.
Why is Kylo Ren such a good like just personality comp for Keith?
Yeah, it really is, dude. Because he's so whiny. Keith told us he quit the show this morning. Oh, because he won $700. Like, yeah, right, dude. You can't quit. You're fired.
I don't know what it is about Adam Driver. I just like, I get such weird vibes. Like, I'm just like, I can't quite. JL said, you said Adam Driver and I'm out. We can talk about Kylo Ren, but not about Adam Driver himself. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Just something about him. I'm like, I don't know. It just, I get weird vibes from him. I have a hard time watching a movie with Adam Driver in it.
Yeah. He's got one of those faces. Like an
One of those
he does. It reminds me of Adrian Brody a little bit.
Also, I see
Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody. I don't know who Adrian Brody is. Is that a name I should know?
Yeah.
He was in Pianist. You were going to say, right?
Yeah.
He's also in.
Excuse you guys. This is a family show.
Yeah, he's also in a lot of like.
There's
He
a ton of
has like
stuff.
little small roles in Wes Anderson movies. He like just comes out of nowhere, you know, for like. I think
Yeah.
He's in the Grand Budapest Hotel and like a bunch of those.
I love that movie. That's
That's
a
a good
movie I've
movie.
seen. That's a really good movie. I like hotel movies that take place in hotels. Bad Times at the El Royale.
What are your
the Grand
What are your top
Budapest-
What are your top 20 hotel movies?
Top 20 hotel
1408 is definitely in there.
The Disney Channel original movie of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody has to be up there. Bad Times at the El Royale is truly one of my top 3 favorite.
I love how
movies
you
there.
mentioned. What was it, Zach and Cody? Before you
Yeah.
mentioned like The Shining.
What's the
Sweet
Shining?
Life.
Sorry.
What's The Shining? There you go, dude. Please
Yeah,
tell me
I'm
you've
not-
seen The Shining at least.
I've not seen The Shining. I know what it is though. Yeah, I got a movie list to catch up on, Coop. I got an Excel document and everything that I put together. The Shining
Once he
is
gets
on
all
there.
the way through RuPaul and Big Brother Celebrity and Big Brother Island and Big Brother Super Island, then he will get to those movies. All right.
Jail. Don't worry. I'm through Big Brother. It's Clone Wars that we got to finish now.
Oh yeah, and Clone Wars. I forgot.
I
about
got to
that.
get through Clone Wars.
You watched the animated ones?
The animated one.
Dude,
It is
those are
so
actually
sick.
Kind of tight. Yeah.
It's so good.
I fell off. I got to get back in there, dude.
I just finished up season 4. Oh, it's intense. It's
Probably
a
one of the
great
most
show.
emotionally charged kids cartoons that I've ever seen.
Emotionally charged.
Keithan here said, man, we need to start a Patreon where the highest bid is you can make Simon watch a movie. The highest level. So if you're
would
on
be
that top tier of
good.
Patreon, you get to pick a movie that I have to watch.
Yo,
From
I'm
an
writing that
unlimited
down. That's a good idea.
supply of movies that Simon has not seen.
There are some, and then I can part of that is I can make like a 3-minute review of the movie afterwards. Like we can do like Simon reviews movies that he's never seen before, and it'll be like classics.
Simon reviews classic movies that everyone has already seen every review for, and that'll be a hot segment, dude.
The one that pisses people off a lot is I have fallen asleep within the first 10 minutes of the movie 300 3 different times. I've tried to watch it and I have fallen asleep. And the same thing, I have fallen asleep within the first 30 minutes of Inception all 3 times I've tried to watch it. And I know JL, that one hurts his feelings.
So it's like every time you watch 300, it's like it had been nearly 30 years since the wolf in the winter cold. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Look at that.
And then I'm out. Craig says, please tell me you've seen Jurassic Park. I have seen Jurassic Park and I've seen Jurassic World. I've seen most of the movies in that franchise. I don't want to say all of them.
So you're a Michael Crichton guy.
I've read a Michael Crichton book from time to time.
What have you read? I just read Sphere. I was having like anxiety on the plane, so I was like, I'll read a book, and I put on a anxiety doctor goes underwater in a tight submarine, and that was the perfect book to read on a plane for sure. That's like
mine was on a plane too, Coop. I picked it up from the airport, and I think it was. I'm having trouble remembering if it was Michael Crichton or if it was Stephen King, because I feel like all of their paperbacks that you buy at the airport look exactly the same, but it was called Congo. And I think it was a Michael.
I'm reading
Crichton
that right
book.
now.
Are you reading that right now?
With the Grillos, yeah.
That's the only one.
Kind of on
I
a
ever
Michael
read.
Crichton kick, you know what I mean?
Michael Crichton kick.
Yeah.
I love a good author kick. Sometimes you just get addicted to like an author's way of writing, and nothing else scratches that itch.
Emphasize
Little techno thriller, you know what I mean?
Guys, this is the Front Yard Fantasy Book Club. Now, this is not the Front Yard Fantasy morning show. We're talking nothing but books and book club over here. Now, coming up next, we're going to be talking a little bit more about this Thursday night football game recap and what happened for you. And then we got some Sunday previews. We'll be going through the Sunday slate, talking what we think is going to happen in these games. And then our good friend Vinny Iyer is joining the show a little bit later today. God, I love Vinny. Can't wait for him to come on. We'll be talking our favorite DFS and prop plays as well. And then Patrick Crichton is going to come on the show as well, host of ESPN's Late Hits and a Texans reporter columnist for Gallery Sports. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I think it's hard to judge Daniel Jones. He's got no offensive line and he's got no weapons. So, he still made a couple of bad decisions this year, but it's really hard to judge him. And that's the difficult part for the Giants. They have to figure out if he's the guy. How can you make that assessment when he's throwing a Kenny Golladay who can't catch anything?
Jones in a shotgun set. Back to throw. Has time. Fastball to the right side. Golladay makes the catch, but then he fell down and he never controlled it. It's incomplete. He tried to run away from the defender and he dropped it.
Richie James, look at this. It is bad. They really need Wan'Dale Robinson and Kadarius Toney out there. And even then, it's still not enough. And I believe Daniel Jones is the most pressured quarterback in football. And it's going to be hard for him to have success.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
What can we say about 5 more passes batted at the line by Baker Mayfield? That's 12 for the season. I've never seen anything like this. Last year's leader had 17 for the entire season. Mayfield's on pace for 51, and the Panthers barely throw.
Thank you. They barely throw. They don't make no explosive plays. They can't do nothing offensively. But when you look at this team, they ran 51 plays yesterday. They had 220 total yards. They ran the ball for 40 yards. They threw the ball for 180. On the throws, it was under 5 yards a pass. They are using their short passing game as a running game, but it ain't going nowhere. There's no explosive plays from anybody. Baker Mayfield's a dog. And that was just a terrible display of football. There was a reason to boo. There's a reason to be calling for Rule's job. There's a reason to want everybody out in Carolina because that thing is pitiful.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
We are hearing reports, Ray, that people felt this was so unfair and so dastardly that people are changing rules and allowing folks to remove Kamara from their starting lineup. You cannot break this rule. This is lousy, Ray, and I hate the precedent that some people are setting with this.
Later on, the commissioner said, oh, yeah, sorry, you didn't get up at 6 a.m. today. We'll allow you to make a switch. Sorry. If you're mad at something here, you don't get mad at your league, you don't get mad at the rules, you don't get mad at your commissioner, you get mad at the bloody NFL, who I have said all along, what are we doing here? Why are we trying to take over the world?
It's just bad luck, Ray. This happens a lot, doesn't it? It just doesn't happen with the likes of Alvin Kamara. You got to be awake when the actives and inactives come out.
But again, if you want to lay blame, it's the NFL. Why is the NFL playing games that the majority of the people in the United States aren't even awake for? What are they doing? Isn't it our league? North America's league, or is it Europe's league? So if you're mad at someone, you're mad at the NFL.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. JL is on poop alert. He's pooping. I don't know.
Right.
That's what I like to say. We're just making fun of him. No, he got another clue on that Grimace treasure, Coop. So he went out to check real quick. Got a hot tip that it was actually in the park near his house. The second level of the Grimace treasure. So we'll see if he finds
more park places.
More park places.
More millions, dude.
If we're lucky over there, more millions. We had a couple other pieces of news.
I was
that I wanted
not pooping.
That's not what I heard.
Sounds like
I was back before the break ended. Keith was just sleeping back there. Didn't let me back.
Keith was pooping.
Keith was also pooping. We pooped together. I need a supervisor.
You know what the word? You know what's really unfair? Like a real injustice in this show that I think hasn't been talked about enough.
What's that?
Keith can poop while working as long as he sets up in there. I can't. Well, I guess I could. But
yeah, I mean, nobody's stopping you.
I might do it on accident one of these days, but not on purpose.
We've been in my bathroom this whole time. That's what this set is.
This is Michael Jordan up there.
Yeah.
You know, I've said,
bathroom?
Man, I should stream from the bathroom. I've been joking about that, but I actually did that in Canton because we had to stream from the same hotel room, me and Josh. And so in order to not get feedback on the mics, I had to set up somewhere else. So I just closed the bathroom door, got like the bedside end table in front of the toilet, and spent the entire stream sitting on the toilet streaming from the bathroom. Toilet stream.
Toilet stream.
Toilet stream. 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo received off-season trade interest from the Panthers, and he was quoted as saying they were top of the list. I think we were advancing with a couple different teams. Nothing obviously came to fruition. They were top of the list. I would say one of the top couple. He said on Thursday when asked if things had advanced with the Panthers in terms of a potential trade in the offseason. He also said he's glad things worked out. He's where he needs to be, but what do you think this Panthers team would have looked like with Jimmy G? Do you think this would have been a better offense? Do you think Matt Rule would be sitting on the hot seat if Jimmy G was over there with the Panthers?
I think you'd still be on the hot seat. I think
agree.
that his style of coaching here, like, and the crazy part about with these coaches like this, like if Matt Rule does get fired, you look back and question a lot of the decisions that were made along the way, right? So like clearly, one of the first things he did was bring in Joe Brady, who was the coach and play caller for those awesome LSU teams, right? With Joe Burrow throwing 50 touchdowns or whatever. And he was fired before the first season even ended. And you might look back and be like, wait a second. Like, so now Joe Brady is obviously working with the Bills and he's the quarterback coach over there. Yeah, I think their quarterback's doing pretty well. So you look at it and be like, okay, maybe Joe Brady deserves another shot here. Maybe Joe Brady and his boy Terrace Marshall that hasn't gotten a shot, maybe those guys deserve a second look. So whenever there's coaching change and things like that, you have to go back and kind of look at, follow the trail of breadcrumbs to see what might have been the person doing the right thing and getting fired because they're the assistant coach, right?
Yeah. No, there's something going on here. I think you're right though. This isn't this wouldn't have been a like Jimmy G turns this Panthers team around. That's not what's going on. They're not a quarterback away from this Panthers team being good, and Jimmy G's definitely not that quarterback.
Now, during the break, you heard Corey Parson talking about the number of bat downs that Baker Mayfield's had. Did you see the clip of him talking to reporters about that?
No, I did not.
They were like, the reporter like asked him about it nicely, and Baker's like, "You got a drill for me?" And the guy was like, "What?" He's like, "You got a drill for me to help me with that?" And then the reporter was like, "No, like that's like what the coaches should be doing." He's like, and the reporter's like, "What? You guys aren't doing those drills?" And Baker's just like, "Next question." Like he tried to get all tough on him.
Such a Baker response.
Right.
Like
he tried to get all tough on him, and the reporter was like, "Yeah, you should definitely."
Earnestly?
He should be like, "You should definitely be doing drills to help with that." And there are drills to do that. I remember seeing
the broom one.
Yeah, I've seen the Patriots back like when prime JJ Watt before they would play them. You'd see the pictures from practice with all the dudes holding tennis rackets out to mimic JJ Watt's hands.
Tennis rackets to mimic JJ. That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Like lunch boxes. That's what that dude's hands are like.
Speaking
the metal ones.
Speaking of JJ Watt, we saw that he had a AFib and got shocked back into rhythm. And I remember I asked my girlfriend about it because she works in heart rhythms. Like that's where she works. And she was like, "Oh, you have no idea." She was like, "This has been such a hot topic at work recently." And I was like, for the first time and maybe the only time ever, you and I had the same conversation at work today. Like me working in fantasy football and you working in like heart rhythms, and we both talked about the same thing. It was an exciting moment for us.
Right. And then you were like, "Did you also talk about poop and Michael Crichton?" And she was like, "We did not."
I was like, "Have you seen Goodfellas?"
Name one hockey player.
Can't do it. Yeah.
Name a single highlight player.
I guarantee those nurses could name way more hockey players than you, bro.
At least, one. That's what they have to get to beat it.
Not a high bar.
Pretty good. Also, we had some comments in the chat. Jimmy Anderson coming in here. Oh, I have pissed Jimmy off this morning. He said, "You watch Clone Wars and not Goodfellas." What the? Just pissed that. And said, "With the damn books, Jesus, yeah, I read books and I haven't seen Goodfellas." Jimmy, that's who I am. Okay. Maria said, "I don't watch any movie. Makes so many people math. It just maths them right off." But I'm so mathed right now.
So many people mad.
Are you mathed? I couldn't be more mathed. I could be more mapped. And then Donovan Miller in here saying if Jimmy G went there,
Donovan.
DJ Moore would be a number 2 wide receiver again and not a bye week flex. You know, maybe you're not wrong there. DJ Moore was fine with Sam Darnold. Maybe he'd be fine with Jimmy Garoppolo as well.
Is
'cause
Jimmy
he's not fine
Garoppolo,
with
just
Baker
talent
Mayfield.
alone, is Jimmy Garoppolo more talented than Baker Mayfield?
I don't know.
I think so. I think he is. I mean, he took a team. I know it was
Yeah,
good
you're probably
defense
right.
and great offensive line, but he took a team to the NFC Championship last year. People forget the 49ers didn't just kind of like sneak in the playoffs. Like they almost went to the Super Bowl. They're very close to go to the Super Bowl.
That's a very, very good point, and I agree with that. I think Jimmy G doesn't get the credit he deserves for that achievement. I think probably Baker's more naturally talented is kind of the vibe I get, and Jimmy Garoppolo maybe a little less naturally talented, but for whatever reason he's been able to refine his skills better, you know, currently in the NFL than Baker has. So
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, also you got to remember Jimmy G got to work with Tom Brady, Bill Belichick,
right.
McDaniels. He got to work with both McDaniel, right? Because he worked with Mike McDaniel.
Yeah,
too,
McDaniel
who's
and
now-
McDaniels.
all the McDaniels, every version of McDaniel. You know, Shanahan, all those boys, dude. He got to be around a lot better coaching, in my opinion, than what
Why do you think Baker on the Browns? Like the Browns are known for developing quarterbacks well, Coop. Like that's their strong point.
Kevin
That too,
Stefanski's extent of quarterback drills is like hand off left, hand off right,
throw.
pitch. Yeah, like you go throw.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point too. Is that like he probably had to work for it a little more, right? Because he wasn't really given the same. Like Baker came in, he had the Heisman and everything, and was first overall pick. Like he was the guy. But
Hey,
Jimmy Garoppolo didn't have that.
According to producer Keith, Earndog, legendary Earndog, pulled up that Baker clip for us. Let's take a look.
Earndog,
dude, the man.
Woof woof.
If you got a drill for me, you can let me know. If you have a drill for me, you can let me know.
Coaches have to give you any suggestions for something like that?
I mean, it's like it's staying in the pocket. It's finding windows to throw, getting their hands down for the game. I mean, it's the same things I keep saying.
Dude, he's so done with that. I love
I
that.
love the reporter though. He's like, you
What I've
got a
been
drill?
saying.
Reporter's like, coaches
What?
don't have any of those drills.
Yeah, they need to bring Matt Rule up there and ask him like, hey, you got any drills for him? Like this guy's saying you don't got any drills.
We have
I
drills.
feel-
Matt will be like, we have drills, tons of
I
them.
feel like this is like
They go to another school in
Drills for
Canada.
days, man.
I feel like this is like the little kid at preschool saying like, no, my mom said I could eat the fruit snacks at 10 a.m. She told me that this morning. It's fine. They're like, so if I call your mom, she's going to say that you can have the fruit snacks for your snack? Yep, for sure. And then
Next question.
Next question. Let's ride.
Ask me about the carrot sticks. Let's ride. Is that
Let's
how Russell Wilson sounds to you, Jay?
We're on-
Russell Wilson comes out. Let's
We're
ride.
on to carrot sticks.
We're on to carrot sticks. One more big piece of news, potentially the most important. 3-time Pro Bowl running back Le'Veon Bell is making his pro boxing debut versus Uriah Hall on October 29th. Roughly a month after knocking out another former football player, Adrian Peterson, in an exhibition. His professional boxing debut was announced Thursday, and he'll be facing longtime UFC middleweight Uriah Hall on October 29th as part of the undercard of the Jake Paul Anderson Silva Most Valuable Promotion Showtime pay-per-view. What do you guys think about this fight?
That all sounds like complete nonsense to me. The fact that Jake and Logan Paul, I mean, dude, kudos to those dudes because they're like, they started off as like, dudes that were on YouTube, just like, I don't know, blowing like snot bubbles or whatever they would do. And then now those guys are legit fighters. Like it seems like they can actually fight, but like in my mind, like fighting Anderson Silva is insane. Like that dude is going to twist your leg off and then he's going to do a backflip and do that little guitar move he does. Like I would never, why would you ever want to do that? So I don't know. And maybe Jake Paul can beat up Anderson Silva, the spider, but I don't think that's going to happen.
You would have to, Coop, how much would you have to get paid to get in the ring with Anderson Silva? Like, what is that dollar amount?
Zillion. I mean, I have to, first of all, I'd have to know that I'd have to be promised that he would submit me instead of knock me out. He is a submission guy. I would just
promise,
lie
I
on the
guess.
ground. I would go right to the ground, and I would have to actually try and fight. Like that's part of the deal.
What about let's make it simpler. You just got to take a punch. One punch in the chest from Anderson Silva.
In the chest.
Yeah, let's say chest.
Instead
of in the face.
On the side that my heart's not on.
Okay, let's make it stomach so it knocks the wind out of you. Okay. You're taking it straight in the stomach.
Okay, but I can still die from that. But I think I would do that for I don't know, $100,000. Do I have to pay for the hospital bills myself?
No, hospital bills are covered.
Yeah, I think I do.
I feel like this is one of those ones where I start at $100,000, but then if you go, yo, would you do it for 50? I'm like, yeah. Would you do it for 10? Yeah.
At the end of the day, yeah. But
like if someone came up to me and offered me $1,000 and said Anderson Silva gets to punch you in the stomach, I would probably let him do it for $1,000. Like that would really mean a lot.
I think if you gave me like 7 or 8 Bud Lights, I would just be like, let's just do it for fun. Let's just do it. Just get it on video. We'll get some views on this.
You're right. I think back to like college, and I feel like every time after like 7 or 8 Bud Lights, you'd be out on like the lake beach, and all of a sudden all the guys are like, yo, who wants to fight? Like who wants to wrestle?
Exactly,
like who wants to wrestle? Like if there's an open area and more than one inebriated male, they're like, let's wrestle. Right. Let's do it. Hey, punch me. Let's see what we can get.
During the day, I see a spider. I'm like, when I'm drunk, I'm like, $5, I'll eat 10 spiders.
When I was in high school, the easiest $3 I ever made. This girl I found a moth during PE on the track, and I told this girl I'd eat it for $1, and she said sure. And then another girl walking with her said, I will give you $3 not to eat that moth. And she gave me $3 not to eat the moth. So I tripled the money I would have gotten for eating it. All I had to do was threaten to eat that moth in front of someone for $1.
You can make a career of that, dude.
We could make a career of that.
Traveling around.
Chase says, we talking football or no? Sometimes we're talking football. We are talking football, and that's
anyway, wasn't there was a football player that was supposed to be fighting somebody, but I talked about the other fight.
Lev Bell is fighting Uriah Hall in that matchup. So that's what we got going on. He's a former football player. We can move on though. Excuse me right there. We got a bunch of games coming up for week 5. That was just the tip of the iceberg that we saw last night on Thursday Night Football. If you look at the rest of this slate, it's a lot of gross games, but hopefully that was by far the grossest one we're going to be looking at. The first game I wanted to talk about, guys, after we're moving on from Thursday Night Football. We can put that out of our memories. It doesn't even exist anymore. Is the New York Giants Green Bay Packers game. The Packers favored by 8 points at home with a 41.5 point over under. Coop, how do you see this game going? Are the Packers covering this? They're going to win big like Vegas expects?
It's always, I think the Packers are definitely going to win this game, but covering 8, that's a pretty spicy line. That's set pretty high. But at home, oh no, it's in London. Jeez. Yeah, I think they'll cover this game. I think the Packers win this one pretty handily. What do you think, JL?
Yeah, I think the Packers will also win this pretty handily. Might be a get right game for Aaron Rodgers. You think he can finish top 5 this week?
I could see it, man. I mean, like Lazard's coming on, Dobbs looking good. He's got pretty much everybody at his
weapons
disposal now, right? Whereas the Giants are the complete opposite. Everybody's banged up, or out for the season. Do we know if I know Matt's boy Richie James just got hurt too this past week? He was limited with an ankle. So do we know if Kadarius Toney and or Wan'Dale Robinson will be playing? Would be
just
cool
looking
to
it
see
up
those
right
guys
now.
at some point.
I know. Wan'Dale Robinson, I feel like was close because I was looking at him yesterday on my fantasy teams and trying to decide whether I wanted to take that shot this week.
He was a limited participant at practice yesterday and the day before, so that's good signs that he was at least participating. Kadarius Toney was a DNP at practice yesterday.
Kenny Galladay's not. They already said he's not going to travel with the team.
Yeah, and Kenny Galladay has not practiced the past 2 days either. Richie James was a limited participant. Oh, and Albert St. Tony's been ruled out. Yeah, that checks out that he hasn't didn't practice yesterday, not going to be playing. Maybe we see some Wan'Dale Robinson. JL, if he is playing, is that a player you're comfortable starting in this game? Like, is that a guy you're willing to plug in? with all the other players out. Kenny Golladay out. Kadarius Toney out. Sterling Shepard obviously not playing either.
No, you got to wait and see. It's not. Yeah, it's week 5. It's your fantasy team. You got to protect yourself here. You don't know what Wando Robinson's going to be, and we don't know how he's going to fit into this offense. Just wait and see. I'm excited to see what he can do in this offense. It seems like they're pretty excited about him, so that's promising. But yeah, you cannot start him this week unless you have no other choice.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Now, Dale, you mentioned this could be a good right game for Aaron Rodgers. My only concern with that is I think it would have to purposefully be a get right game for Aaron Rodgers because this Giants defense hasn't been great at stopping the run so far this season. They've got 2 competent backs in Green Bay between Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. They're heavy favorites. This may just be an Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon kind of game, but we could see, like, I just don't know if they're going to need Aaron Rodgers to have a top 5 performance to beat these Giants, right? Like, I don't know if we're going to see that from him because it may not be necessary. I don't think these Giants are very good.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's the case every time when we see like a heavy favorite, right? That's the narrative you have to worry about, but it doesn't always play out that way. We've seen
the Giants
favorites.
Secondary hasn't been bad.
No.
Giants secondary has not been bad at all. So yeah, I mean, I think that's further evidence for that narrative is that, maybe they rely more heavily on the run game.
But it looks like we all believe the Packers are going to win this one. They seem like the much better team, even though the Giants, what's the Giants record now? They're 2-2, right? Sitting there at 2-2. They were on the precipice of being 3-1, which would have been like a travesty to everything if the Giants were sitting at 3-1.
Instead,
travesty to everything.
Well, instead the Bears are 3-1. So, that's like that's even worse.
Ow,
dude.
That is so much worse.
Oh, the Giants are 3-1. And the Bears are 2-2. We had it backwards.
Got it backwards.
Oh.
We got it backwards.
Phew.
So I think
don't know why, but that makes me feel better about things.
It does. Because the Giants, I feel like, are a better team than the Bears, even though the Giants aren't that great. I mean, like, Eagles are 4-0, Cowboys are 3-1, Giants are 3-1. Division maybe a little better than people thought. But probably not.
God, that Bears team is just so hard to watch. Man, I'm already sad about next Thursday. I think I'm just gonna download a different game, like one that I know is exciting from a while ago.
NFL Network. They're playing replays during Thursday Night Football.
Are they?
Yeah,
just turn that on.
Just turn that on and pretend like that's the live game.
I think that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna live tweet like the 2018 Rams Chiefs game or whatever that 100-point game was. I'm just gonna watch that one instead.
Are you guys taking the Giants to cover the spread in this game? 8-point spread?
No.
Nah.
No, because I just don't trust them without the weapons. And, it's all about Saquon Barkley. You just spend on one player. I'd rather you spend on Saquon Barkley's props,
Yeah.
And to put in perspective, the Bears are attempting 16.8 pass attempts per game. The next closest is 24. And there are some teams in this league that are attempting almost 50. The Jets are averaging 48 pass attempts a game. The Bears
they have Joe Flacco. You can't hold everyone to that standard.
They got him. He's holding the clipboard now, though, dude. Unfortunately.
Yeah, they put him away.
Yeah, they put him. They put him away. They put him in the
put him
box.
back on the shelf. Near mint condition for him. We had some questions in the chat, guys. In here, Bronson wanted to know: start one at flex, Zeke, Thielen, or Duvernay. So Ezekiel Elliott, Adam Thielen, or Devin Duvernay. I'm assuming it's not Duvernay. Like we can go ahead and cross him out. You're starting Adam Thielen over Zeke.
He has the 4th highest. He's either 4th or 6th. I was just looking at it. The highest snap share of any wide receiver in the league. He's playing virtually every single snap, running every route. 20% target share. He's had 7, 8, 9 targets last 3 games, and he's a guy that I would say the odds are at least a coin flip, if not better, of him to score a touchdown in any given game. So for me, Adam Thielen, anywhere I have him, I'm just comfortable putting him in the lineup, especially like a 3 wide receiver league or a league with a flex. Get him in there, man. Thielen has been rock solid.
Joe, what about you? Are you going to take Zeke?
I just benched Zeke in a league because of the matchup. He's going against the Rams, and that's the most difficult run defense for fantasy so far this season. So Zeke, there's already risk. There's already concerns there. And then he's got one of the most difficult matchups this week. If I can, I'd rather go with the guy who I think has more upside this week. I'm not saying Zeke is falling off. I'm not saying drop him. Just saying I'd rather start Adam Thielen this week as well.
The funny thing about Zeke is he will somehow, sneak and weasel his way into being an RB1 by the end of the season. Like he'll probably finish like RB on the season. He'll be because he
It's
won't.
gonna be awful to watch.
He'll finish like RB11 or something, and you'll be like, when did that happen? Like that's kind of what Zeke's been the last few years. But he's literally if he doesn't finish as an RB1 this year, it'll be the first time in his career. That's where Zeke is at.
Super consistent.
Dude, he finished as an RB1 in that season where he only played 10 games. Like
that's wild. Crazy.
Yeah, but Tony Pollard is the problem right now. So
Tony Pollard, a real problem. A real problem.
It's a mess.
We had a question from Victor. He said, do you think Breece plays this weekend? Breece Hall? Do you guys think Breece Hall plays this weekend? Have you seen any updates on his status, on whether or not he's going to be active?
Better. That's what
I think so. I think everything I've seen.
I haven't seen anything. Yeah. I'm with you, Joe. I haven't seen anything negative about Breece Hall playing, but he should be out there on the field. And I think he's a great play this week. It sounds like, according to Robert Saleh, he's just nicked up. Like he got a little banged up, but he's good to go. So no concerns about Breece for me.
Yeah. 7 targets a game?
Dude, he's been quietly fantastic. Like nobody is talking about it.
The thing is, whereas the Bears, I believe, have to positively regress in pass attempts. They're not going to finish the season with less than 20 pass attempts a game. I just can't see it happening. They don't get to play the Bears and Texans every week. That's who they've been playing. You know what I mean? They played the 49ers, Bears, Texans. Like, you can go through those games without throwing. They can't. They're not going to be able to walk into Minnesota this week and not throw the ball 25 times at least. So there's going to be positive regression there. And with the Jets, I think there's going to be regression the other way. There's no way they're going to throw 900 times or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So
9,000 times.
Breece Hall, I like the thing with Breece Hall is he's now every week gaining more and more snaps over Michael Carter, but you also can't, you can't project him to get 8-9 targets every single week because they're not going to throw 50 times every week.
Nope.
Yeah.
Albert down here had a stat for us. Said Fields has completed 34 passes. Kupp has 42 receptions.
Nonsense.
Cooper Kupp has 8 more receptions than Fields has completed passes this season. That's absurd.
That's nonsense, dude.
That's truly absurd.
That's trash.
Guys, coming up, we're gonna keep on previewing these Sunday games. And our friend Vinny Ayers joining the show as well. We'll give you some of our favorite DFS plays for this weekend. And then Patrick Crichton is going to be joining the show a little bit later, host of ESPN's Late Hits. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
I got to tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Fensty's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you going to eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So, of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast. I get breakfast. Fensty doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
Dude, there's a time for waffles.
I eat breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like, what was it, like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's the equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got this steak sandwich, which was
steak sandwich at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man. You're
I'm not an odd guy.
Yes, you are. Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough. Smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that. No,
Alfredo, that's what he gets at the steakhouse.
Do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse and get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why. You know, I didn't realize they were famous for the waffles. Hey, look,
The name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot take getting a steak sandwich. As long as it was good, I housed that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffle.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Bettor Sports Network.
Welcome back in, everyone, to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. We are in the middle of breaking down the Sunday night games. We just broke down that Giants-Packers game. The next game I wanted to talk about was the Seattle Seahawks New Orleans Saints game. Seattle going to New Orleans. New Orleans are they're 5.5-point favorites at home, 46.5-point over/under, which with the slate of games this week is one of the higher totals for the week. There's not that many above 45 points. This is one of the higher ones. And before we start breaking this game down, yesterday, the link was posted by Jack Settleman, if I remember correctly, but it was to another podcast website. And they had this tool where you could go in there and rank all of the NFL teams, but it wasn't like you make your rankings. It gave you a series of like 80 head-to-head matchups, like one by one. And it was changing the matchups based on your answers, right? Like, who do you like better? Cardinals or Saints? Packers or Seahawks, and it would generate your rankings for you. It was sick. I had so much fun doing that during Thursday Night Football last night. But the reason I bring that up now is two of the teams I had the most trouble with whenever they were put up against teams that weren't in that top tier were the Saints and the Seahawks. I really struggled with these teams, looking at them head to head against other teams in the league, Seahawks versus Saints. I don't know who's going to end with a better record. I know the Saints are 5.5-point favorites here, but I'll see if I can find that link so we can do that. But this is a weird matchup.
You have to find it because I need to do it. So
all of a sudden we're all just going to be quiet as we're going through it on air. And I didn't screenshot mine, so I'm going to have to redo it, see if we get similar results. But you guys get what I mean about the Seahawks and the Saints? I feel like there's just questions. We haven't seen what these offenses really look like. Geno Smith has looked incredible, and the Seahawks offense at times has looked very good. I expect the Saints offense to be better than it has been, but they've got a great defense. I don't know what to do with them. I don't know what to think of these teams on a big scale.
On a big scale.
I mean, the Saints are 1-3. I'm worried for the Saints here because their quarterback's banged up, their running back's banged up. Their defense is still pretty solid though.
Yeah, their defense has been playing.
Yeah,
I think well.
I think the Seahawks might be better than the Saints. I know that the Saints are favored to win by 5.5 this week, but I don't know. The Seahawks are they have the momentum on their side. So I don't trust the Saints to cover that line.
You like Seahawks money line in this? You can get them at plus 205 money line.
If I was a gambling man like Keith, I would be betting the Seahawks to cover and then sprinkling a little on that money line too.
I'm with you. That's exactly what I was thinking. I like the Seahawks to cover in this one, and I don't mind throwing a little juice on that money line. I think I picked the Seahawks straight up in this one to win this game. Geno Smith keeps rolling. Jail, what do you think here? Are you with us? Or are you thinking the Saints are going to pull this one out?
I'm with you guys. What? But I just want to have a distinction from you guys here, which is that Andy Dalton might be possibly the best quarterback to ever play, and we might be underestimating him. Just gotta say that. The Red Riffle.
The Red Riffle, my mortal enemy. The Red Riffle is not the greatest quarterback to ever play, and it's not going to work.
No.
I did find the link to that tool. I'm going to post it in the YouTube chat as well. I'll get that posted over there. And if you guys want to go through and rank some teams, I just posted it. It's in there. They've got a couple ones. They've got one for quarterbacks as well. So you can go through and do all of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And then they've got the one for NFL teams. So just click on that site and then start ranking those head-to-head matchups, and you can get your rankings.
What is this website, dude? It looks like a MySpace page, dude. It looks like a GeoCities. What is
Oh, this is
it's like a link sharing site.
Yeah.
And this is a link sharing site for another sports podcast, the Stay Hot Sports Podcast. Is what this is for.
Dude, we should just get Blade and the guy who made this site, I'm assuming, on the show. He's
Let's get
FanDuel
Bladen
guy.
on here. Keith, get Bladen on here. Come on, Keith.
Get him on.
Where is he? Right now, we want Bladen on the show.
The second one I clicked on, it was Seahawks came up, and I'm like,
Oh, good. Coop's doing it right now. I knew we were going to lose Coop as soon as that link went in there. Are we going to keep seeing magic from Geno Smith? Like, are we going to keep seeing Geno Smith look like he did last week in that game, or is it going to be a come back down to earth game for Geno Smith? Like, what if you have Geno Smith on your fantasy team? Are you starting him this week? Like, where does he land in your rankings going up against the Saints D?
look, I don't want to get carried away. I always, I keep things pretty close and I keep it pretty even keeled. But Geno Smith is an absolute megastar, and he might be the QB1 in the entire.
He might be the what? The QB what?
QB1 in the entire league and world.
Over Andy Dalton?
It's close between those two. Yeah, those two are kind of in a tier of their own. They're kind
Over
of
Mike White.
They're kind of like the Andrews, Kelsey of the quarterback world. Those two.
Checks out. Smith, Dalton, Mike White in that next tier though. He's sitting there right below them. I have to imagine.
As far as firing the ball at the running back, Mike White might be the best in the world.
Dude, I'm looking at Geno Smith's just accuracy and efficiency metrics this year so far on Player Profiler, and it is insane. He's like top 5 in so many categories.
Super mega star, high end.
Accuracy rating, number 1. True completion percentage, number 1. Play action completion percentage, number 1. It's insane.
Yeah.
Keep saying things and then saying number 1. I was getting
Ball
excited.
Completion percentage, number 1. I mean,
yes!
number 5.
Yeah, oh shoot.
He's playing well, man. It's fun to root for him at the very least. So,
Yes.
Let's do a couple here. So if you have Tom Brady or Geno Smith this week. Oh, yeah, JL.
Just this week?
Just this week.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. I think so.
Andy Dalton.
No one's starting Andy Dalton.
Answer.
Tom Brady against the Falcons.
No, it's Tom Brady against the Falcons. It's not even close on that one. I like Geno Smith, but I'm not starting him over Tom Brady.
Yeah. Okay. So Geno is kind of fringe QB2 is where he really lives, right? Like the front end of the QB2 range, I think.
What about
This week a little lower.
Kyler Murray versus Philly or Geno Smith versus Saints?
Kyler Murray. A ton. I gotta go Kyler.
Okay, just making sure I'm looking down this list. Trevor
That's
Lawrence
tough.
versus Houston or Geno Smith versus Saints?
Trevor Lawrence. Geno Smith isn't even good.
Moments after he said he is the number one.
Once you got to put
best
me,
quarterback
once you
in
put me
the
into
world.
the quiz, right? Like everyone's doing right now and not paying attention, I'm also doing. Once you put me into the actual quiz, the answer is never Geno Smith, but
Never.
but maybe every once in a while.
When I was doing that quarterback quiz last night, I was like, it felt disrespectful every time. Like it would ask me like Zach Wilson or Geno Smith, and I'm like, God, that would be so disrespectful to Geno Smith for me to click Zach Wilson right now, based on what Geno's done so far this year. And then sometimes you still do it anyways. It's rough. But I kind of took that quiz as like, who would you want? Like if you started a franchise today, who would you want as your starting quarterback? Like who would you throw in there?
Oh yeah. You're gonna do it that way. I'm stuck on this. I don't even know. I can't proceed because Panthers versus Bears just came up on my screen, and my brain is just broken now. I'm like I'm trying to click neither somehow. Panthers Bears. What's a better?
No.
Team?
Panthers or Bears?
The Bears are 3-1, so
they're 2-2.
Oh, they're 2-2. Damn it!
Can't get that right at all.
Yeah, we can't figure that out. We were actually we were just explicitly told that a moment ago by Dustin. We couldn't remember it
Yeah, so the Bears are 3-1, so I'm gonna go with them. I think
I'd go
is where I'm
Bears.
going.
I think
The
I'd
Bears
go
have
Bears too, which is
at least they got a
disgusting.
competent defense, right? Like at least they've got one side of the ball that's
even
competent.
it's such a small sample size game that like in the back of your mind you still have to say what if. So with the Bears with the competent defense, what if their offense starts throwing and doing a little bit, So I'll give them the what if there. Whereas the Panthers, I feel like the Panthers are who they are going to be. They've been who they're going to be, which is a team that
who we
doesn't
say we are. a superstar. That's what they are. They're being so honest. They're just straight superstars. Guys, this next game, this is probably, Dale, you were mentioning before the show, you're interested in watching this game just because of the insane line that we've got going on. The Pittsburgh Steelers going to Buffalo to play against the Bills. The Bills are 14-point favorites at home. 14-point favorites with a 46.5-point over-under. So they're expecting the Bills to score in this one. Favored by 14 points and the over-unders at 46.5. Man, this is one of those ones where, like, I feel like the answer, we've said this on the show, I feel like the answer is to take the points, right? Like to go with the Steelers plus 14. It seems like a bad bet to say that the Bills are going to beat them by 14 points. But when I think about this game, all I see is the Bills winning by 2+ touchdowns. Like, I'm probably not touching this spread. Like, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I would. This is interesting. I think it's probably slightly more likely the Steelers do cover this 14-point spread, but I don't think it's necessarily that far off. I mean, this Bills team is so well-rounded. It's truly impressive, and the Steelers have a lot of holes. So I'm just looking at PFF's matchup here, and it says 61% of cash is going on the Steelers to cover the spread. It's pretty interesting.
Suckers, dude. Because
it's a bunch of suckers.
They're probably gonna win by exactly 14. That's what's gonna happen.
If you look at the anytime touchdown score props, it's just like disrespectful to the Steelers because it is just all like there is only one player in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for an anytime touchdown score that's on the Steelers, and it's Najee Harris, and he's the fifth most likely to be an anytime touchdown scorer. They've got Stephon Diggs, Devin Singletary, Gabriel Davis, and Josh Allen, all with better odds. And then the next 4 are Dawson Knox, Khalil Shakur, Deontay Johnson, and James Cook. So of the first 9 players with like the best odds to be an anytime touchdown scorer, 8 of them are Buffalo Bills. 8 of them are Buffalo Bills. It just keeps getting worse too. Oh my God.
Yeah,
they are not expecting the Steelers to score much in this game.
It's like one of those perfect storm situations where it's like not only is it a better team, but the Bills are also better at the things that the Steelers, like the Bills defense has the pieces to stop exactly what the Steelers do. Like Matt Milano is a great cover linebacker against Pat Freiermuth, right? Like the exact kind of guy to shut down a guy like that. He just held Mark Andrews to 2 catches. So like you can't bet on Muth. Right. And then they have like Trey White and all these guys. Like it's not a good spot for the Steelers. Kenny Pickett's in a whole heap of trouble.
What has better odds like for an anytime touchdown score? The Buffalo defense or Kenny Pickett after he just ran 2 in last week? So this is rushing or receiving touchdowns. It's the player who possesses the ball in the end zone, not the one who throws it.
My guess would definitely be Bills defense.
It is the Bills defense at plus 650 to Kenny Pickett at plus 800. They don't care that he ran 2 in. That wasn't against the Bills D.
I see Hal in the chat said, how are the Steelers going to score? Like, seriously, unless Najee breaks a big one, there's no way. I read that as like a fart. Unless he rips off a big one. The Bills defense should be above Najee on any time touchdown. Yeah, which is what you just brought up.
He said above Najee. The Bills defense should be above Najee. That's
above
great.
Najee. Sorry, you were talking about Dawson
Kenny
Knox.
Pickett.
Kenny Pickett, yeah. But I think the point I wanted to bring up was that how are the Steelers going to score? We don't necessarily know what we're going to get from Kenny Pickett. And, I think that they could definitely, we've seen the Bills defense, as good as they are, still have broken down plays. So I totally think, I think Pickens could be an interesting play. I'm not, like, if you want to throw him maybe in a DFS lineup this week, I might be interested, but I don't think in fantasy, I'm going to take the shot.
No, I'm not putting, I won't have any Steelers in any DFS lineups. There's 32 teams.
Working grind, Hal said Claypool or Wan'Dale Robinson. Claypool or Wan'Dale Robinson. Who are you starting?
Claypool.
We don't even know what Wan'Dale is or how much he's going to play, and he's a rookie. You can't start Wan'Dale. You just can't.
Let's see. I saw a question in there. What's the odds for a shutout? I'm trying to see if I can find some odds for a shutout in here. Man, I'm finding for specific scores, but not for like a specific shutout. If you think the Bills win 27-0, you can get that at plus 26,000 odds on the FanDuel Sportsbook. 27-0 plus 26,000. Maybe. What are you gonna do, Coop? Throw $1 on that?
Throw $1? Yeah, no. Total. You can bet on total touchdowns Bills. Total touchdowns Steelers under 1.5 is plus 100. That's actually, pretty even money. So you can get, even money on betting that they only score one touchdown. I think that's pretty good.
Guys, about to come up right now, we've got a Bills fan and a great friend of the show. We've got Dustin about to join us. He's got something he wants to add about this Bills-Steelers game. Dustin, what's up, my friend?
Unit.
Good morning.
What's up? Good morning.
It's been a few
you got
weeks
something
since I got
for
on
us on
Fox.
this?
Yeah, guys.
Yeah. Sorry, I think there was a little lag. You got something for us on this Bills-Steelers game?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd put some money on Kenny Pickett. I mean, Lamar Jackson rushed 11 times for 73 yards against the Bills last week. So Kenny Pickett's got some wheels. So there's a chance.
Interesting.
Coming from a Bill, that was not what I expected the words out of your mouth to be, Dustin. Whenever I saw you come over here, I was like, "Oh, we are getting a smash." There we go. That's what I wanted to hear.
We're gonna dominate them like no one's ever been dominated before.
Oh boy!
But you think that Kenny Pickett running for his life might accidentally stumble into the end zone at some point?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right.
For a long shot bet, it's worth
it. Good take.
Okay. Sprinkle it on there.
And Tommy in here saying
Sprinkle some on there.
Put up some good fantasy points despite picks. And then Hal saying the over on rush yards for Pickett as well. Yeah, Dustin, I think that that falls into what you're saying. I like that way of thinking about it. I hadn't considered that. And I feel like we see that from rookie quarterbacks as well, right? They're more likely to kind of just take off, right? If the play breaks down, if their first read isn't there, they're more likely to
be close to the offensive line most of the game. So he's going to be running for his life.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be positive for Mr. Kenny Pickett. Dustin, what do you think the score of this game is going to be? Are the Bills going to beat them by more than 14? Are they going to cover that spread?
Oh, fear that the Bills get up by 14 and then just run the clock out and do a lot more running than they're used to. So I think they'll beat it by 14, but it's going to be. I think it's probably going to be 17. Would be my guess.
17. So you're taking the over?
Or no,
taking
the points over there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would take them not to cover.
That is this one terrifies me. That line absolutely terrifies me. I think I'm going to roll with just like player props in this one. The line and the total absolutely scares me. I can't quite see how this game is going to go, but I do like the Kenny Pickett and what you're talking about. I like Devin Singletary rush yards as well.
Oh yeah, I think they're just going to put up rushing yards, and I think it's a game where the Bills don't need to score 35. I think they can get by points and still win, so they don't need to be airing it out all the time, which has been their MO even when they're up. But there's no fear from the Pittsburgh offense at all right now. Come out of the gate swinging. They're going to come out, run the ball, get that run game established early, and then get a decent lead and just eat up clock.
I don't think they need to score 10 points to win this game, if we're being honest. I think we could see them win this one with 10. Yeah. Maybe just count the first quarter's worth of points, and they might be able to win this game.
I think we have too much Thursday night football on our brain.
They may come out
right now.
First drive, so.
Absolutely. Dustin, I want to thank you so much for coming up here and hanging out with us for a bit today, my man. Appreciate you.
Cheers, brother.
Peace.
See you guys.
And the hot tip on the Kenny Pickett anytime touchdown score. You know what? I didn't think about it like that, but Dustin brings up a good point. I kind of like that one. I like that one a little bit. Anything else on this game, guys? Any other players you're starting? Somebody asked me this question yesterday before we move on. James Cook on that Buffalo team. Is he droppable? Like if you have James Cook on your team, are you dropping James Cook at this point, rookie running back for the Buffalo Bills?
Obviously not in Dynasty, but in redraft, I think he's got to be towards the very bottom of your bench. And if there's somebody out there that you would actually use within the next couple of weeks with bye weeks, I would definitely drop him and pick him up. I mean, he's not really playing that much.
No, he was on the field for 3% of snaps last week.
Two snaps. 3%. That's two. That's two whole snaps.
Yeah, you're right.
Meanwhile, Devin Singletary leading the league in routes run of all running backs.
Of course, yeah, just like we all predicted. That makes a lot of sense.
I think he's absolutely droppable in redraft. Yeah.
Absolutely droppable. Man, Man, I know people were excited about him. We had a question in the chat. Well, not a question, just some condolences, wishing for condolences from Tyson. He said, can we get an RIP for me as I had to start Hines in my 20 team? My 20 team has so much promise.
MFMP.
Listen to my injuries. JT, Hines, Kamara, Montgomery, Julio, Jacoby Myers, and in a 20-team league. This is detrimental as depth is total. Yeah, that's pretty rough. That is rough.
Super rough. That is very rough and unfortunate. And that's just unfortunately how fantasy goes sometimes. You got this, Tyson. Hang in there.
Hang in there, my man. Also, we didn't talk about it much at the beginning, but hopefully Nyheim Hines is okay.
Yeah.
That was another one of those scary hits. Like you hate seeing that. And it looked like he was on his way to making me look so stupid for not starting him. He played 3 snaps. And on those 3 snaps, he had 1 carry and 2 targets, right? Like he was going to be a focal point of this offense last night. And he was going to make me look dumb for all the people that I said not to start him. So I'm sad we didn't get to end up seeing that. Hopefully he's all right. We'll keep our eyes on it. And Tommy said, thought I was money with Lindsey. It turns out there's a reason Philip Lindsay was on the practice squad. He wasn't that good. Tyson asking, we talked about this a little bit at the top. What do you guys think of Wilson missing Hamler wide open on the slant play last night? Not sure if you guys have talked about this. Coop, you wanna give a quick recap on what you thought about that?
Oh yeah. So for me, like I did play some quarterback, and there is on most plays a progression, an order that you look at the different targets, because each play typically has a short route, an intermediate route, then a deep route. And you have to look at the short one first, and then the next one, then the next one. He was going through his progressions. It's just, anyone can take the overhead screenshot and say this guy was open, but you have to look at them in order or you're going to miss those individual windows. It just, in my opinion, I think that, it's just, that's the way the reads went, the order went. And that was a later read in the progressions, and it's not there. So it's easier for us to sit back and do that. We don't have to be on the field with, 300-pound guys like swirling around trying to kill us,
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with you on that one. Guys, before we move on to our next game, there was something we needed to talk about that happened on the show yesterday, something we need to bring up. Our friend Mike Barner came on yesterday, gave us some hot tips, right? And the very first hot tip he threw out there, he said, Matt Ryan, interception, lock it in. It's a lock for tonight. And boom, did I yell. My soup was all over the floor whenever that interception hit.
Soup was everywhere.
What kind of soup did you spill, JL?
Cream of crab.
Cream of crab all over everything in your bed?
Everything.
In your toes?
All in my toes. I'm vegetarian, so I can't even eat it.
You can't even lick it off your own toes. What a shame.
Yeah, I know, but dude, if you were listening yesterday and you were like, hey, I'm going to put some money down, you made some cash. You made some quiche.
Tommy requested a new segment, Soup with Coop. New segment.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I was pretty down the middle on the soup take. My soup take was actually pretty lukewarm. Where I kind of sided with both sides there. So I think I could moderate that as a pretty unbiased soup enthusiast.
Because coming up right after this, we've got our friend Vinny Iyer coming back, joining the show to talk a little bit about these Sunday night games and maybe a little bit about the game we saw last night as well. We'll be giving you some of our favorite DFS plays, continue breaking down the Sunday slate, and then Patrick Creighton is joining the show a little bit later as well. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Sports talk done better.
Coop, we did have a question for you. Get into Game wants to ask if you could create an all tight end team. Like, who would be your top tight ends? Like your favorite guys that you would put on